Hot Dog Underwater, and you're listening to Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 6, Episode 12, The Mutants Are Revolting. My name is Michelle Burlingame. With me are Tommy Roulette.
I also can eat a hot dog underwater.
Pete Woodward.
I also can eat a hot dog underwater.
And once again, we are by ourselves, guestless.
Yeah, we're trying to get caught up. And the math we were just doing like 30 seconds ago, trying to figure out why this is the 100th episode of the show and not our 100th episode.
Yeah. We're also very, very tired.
Yeah, it was really confusing, but I think you guys figured it out. It was because of the movies, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they count them as separate episodes. What, it breaks down into 4 episodes?
Yeah, I believe so. And this is
But that
our
still
100th.
doesn't make sense. If there's 4 episodes, there's how many movies? 4 movies?
Four
4
movies.
movies.
So that would have been an extra.
Well, we also split like one of the movies into 2 episodes.
But
I thought
it doesn't matter. They were A. It was A and
didn't
B
we?
or 0.5 is how I numbered them.
Well, then I don't know.
I guess it.
No,
Maybe we
because like
didn't
one
figure
we
it
did,
out.
I think 2 of them we did, so that would be 16 episodes, right? And I think we got 9 episodes out of the 4 movies. So, no, that's still not right. We must have, I don't know. Anyway, this is our 95th real episode. It's the 100th episode of Futurama. This is how perplexed I was. My first note was, what is the 100 at the beginning? It didn't compute. And I guess even when the professor's like, this is our 100th delivery, the 10th per year, none of that even connected. Like, I did not even do the math until we started talking about it this evening.
Mm-hmm. And next week we will have the broadcast season 7 season finale.
Really?
Yes.
Already?
Yes.
I mean, not our next episode. It might come out next week. It might come out 4 weeks from now. You never know anymore. It's tough. We're trying, though.
We're doing our best.
Yes. It's hard.
Maybe if you bought things and
Yeah, we'd be a little more inclined to get our asses here and record every week.
It's not even that. I mean, my ass is always here unless it's not. That's the problem. I'm going to be all over. Have you ever been to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho?
No.
Me neither until next week.
never been to Idaho.
Yeah. That's
Well, technically
My
when this
cousin lives
comes
in
out,
Idaho.
you'll probably have already been to Idaho. Or you'll be in Idaho.
I'll be in Idaho going, that's me on the internet talking about Idaho that I haven't been in yet, but I'm in it right now. The paradoxes. I like Bender's idea to have 100 kegs and 100 hookers and 100 Elvis impersonators.
Who aren't above a little hooking should the
Yes.
occasion arise.
Because then you can fudge those numbers. Do you guys know any Elvis impersonators?
I do.
I do too.
I've seen Elvis impersonators. I don't know.
I wonder if we know the same one.
Probably not.
It would be funny if we did, though.
The one that I know is my age. He's been doing it since he was like 4.
The one that I know is a little bit younger than me, and he's been doing it for probably 20 years. So I guess they're not the same person.
They're
but it's
probably
still,
friends.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Are they not opposed to a little hooking if the opportunity arises?
And there's an argument to be made that doing that in the first place is a form of hooking. So I mean,
They prefer to be called Elvis tribute artists.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
yeah,
They don't like being called impersonators.
It's fine.
At least the ones that perform, the ones that are actual, like.
Because identity theft is a serious crime.
Does that make a guy who's Santa at the mall a Santa impersonator or a Santa tribute artist?
Depends on how committed.
Wait, it's not Santa Claus?
No.
I thought it was actually Santa Claus.
No.
I'm going to start calling mall Santas Santa tribute artists.
Which those guys would probably love, and then it would take a real dark turn real quick. Like, yeah, come and pay tribute to Santa with me. The explosive souffle. This was an interesting plot device, because it seems like Elzar would be able to make something that's more stable. It was because it was all full of nitroglycerin for Mrs. Astor.
Yes, for her heart. Because she's a classy
Bug just flew
lady.
in my eye.
Uh-oh.
Go on, I'm sorry.
Okay, Pigpen. The thing that I did notice was that when they were on the actual run, the graphics was like, oh, let's spend some extra money on the graphics. So if this was towards the end of season 7, they must have been trying to spend off that budget on some extra CGI or something.
Oh, yeah. And then you'll see in the next episode how much budget they spend.
Did they go overboard?
Well, I mean, it's the holiday spectacular.
Oh, shit. Does Santa Bot come back to it again? God damn it.
And,
All right.
it's the Robonica Kwanzaa Bot
Okay. Played by Coolio still?
musical episode. I believe so.
Okay. I'm good with that. But you just said musical, so I'm already. Oh,
It is
God.
a musical episode.
Oh, shit. One stupid gag they had in this that made me laugh out loud and I thought was super funny was when they landed on Mrs. Astor's planet.
Yeah.
And they had the rickety rope bridge. Bender's like running around the planet to wind up. I loved it.
He crosses the bridge twice to jump across the bridge so he doesn't have to walk the bridge.
Yeah. And they're all worried about it. And then he jumps across and they're
just
all there.
walk.
Yeah.
They just walk behind him.
Yeah. It was so good. It reminded me of The Little Prince a little bit. Where he had the little. Did you ever see the old movie? And it's just terrifying. It's very strange. I mean, certainly the Little Prince would have died. There's no way a planet that size could have air held in by its gravity.
There's
It's
no
all
atmosphere on that planet.
Fucking French science fiction bullshit. The butler, he answers the door. I will inform Mrs. Astor that the circus is in town.
That butler's name is Hobbsy, by the way.
Does she say that?
Hobbsy.
Or is it just, that's what he's credited as?
She does say that.
Oh my God. It's just, I love the I can eat a hot dog underwater line. Just that whole thing where they're trying to explain what the fuck they are.
It used to be my bio on Facebook until a bunch of creeps started fucking messaging me going like, oh, you can eat where else can you eat hot dogs?
Oh, God.
So I removed it.
That doesn't surprise me at all, and it makes me feel bad. But on the other hand, like, I don't want to say you were asking for it, but that's you have to consider where you're putting suggestive things.
It's not suggestive. It's a hot dog underwater.
Yes, but you have to understand that internet troll creeps can turn anything into suggestive. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good. But
I'm saying I should be able to put whatever the fuck I want in my bio, Pete.
And you should. And I support you and your efforts to do that. At the same time, the turn of events that occurred, not surprising at all. 100% not surprising. That's just, it's so Fry. It's like the distillation of Fry's essence into that one statement.
Yes.
And I want to know who wrote that line.
So I think my favorite part about it is that he says it just he's so innocent. Because after they feed Mrs. Astor the souffle, she goes to Professor and she says, good work, sir. Do you have a name or something like that? And he tells her Hubert Farnsworth, and she goes, Farnsworth, you say? The Farnsworths have been in New York for almost 200 years. And then he says, yes, I have. Like, yes, he has. But then, like, Fry says, I'm his uncle. Like, he's just so surprised, like, so happy that someone knows, like, the Farnsworth name. Like, he's one of them, and he might be impressive. And so he's trying to think of something that he can bring to the table, and it's eating a hot dog underwater.
I'm okay. I'm trying to think about the mechanics of that now. Bun or no bun? Because if you had the bun, it would be kind of a Kobayashi thing where you soak the bun in water to make it dissolve so you can swallow it fast. But if you just had a sausage underwater.
Well, in the last episode, Fry found 2 hot dogs. So I wonder if these are the same hot dogs.
Yeah, he didn't say where he found them or what the conditions were. Where he ate
Hot
them.
dogs I found.
And if you just found them like on the ground, eating them underwater might be a way to like wash them off.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're just hot dogs, like no bun, just hot dogs.
I kind of want to fill up
Like
my sink and then like throw a bunch of shit in my mouth and see if I can chew underwater. Like that's
you definitely can.
That's number one. I mean, you can in theory, but you have to keep your mouth.
You can in practice.
Like tight.
I've done it before. You can absolutely eat underwater.
Well, okay. What have you eaten underwater and why?
I don't want to talk about it. No, sometimes when you have a long day at work and you're sore and you just want to like hang out in a bubble bath, but also like eat a snack. I've done that many times.
Okay.
So sometimes
Take a bite,
you just gotta treat yourself. You
and
just
then
take
you
a
just
bite, then you just
go underwater
yeah.
and you chew it up.
Okay.
It's easy unless you're an open mouth eater.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Well, there's
I
chew with
don't
your
open
mouth
my
open.
mouth. Yeah.
there's that, but the other thing you have to consider is finding a bathtub that can accommodate me is not.
Yeah, I'm saying that's not hard for me. Maybe
No.
maybe for you because you're super tall, but
Yeah, I used to have a nice clawfoot at my old place that I probably could have soaked in, but then it was like, God knows how many years old and full of who knows whose blood. So I didn't want to soak in it. It's just like it was there. So that had me wondering actually, like she recognizes Farnsworth's name. Does that mean that his family has preceded him in notoriety? Or because I still feel like
I think she's just heard of him because she
because
says
he's been around so long.
the Farnsworths have been in New York for over 200 years,
And it's just
or
him.
for almost 200 years. Yes, I have. So I think it's just she has heard of him
Is
since
there?
he's a professor or whatever.
I don't think we've ever come across it, and I'm just wondering at this point if there's an episode coming up here as we're on the decline of the series. I just mean in the as we're on the downward slope here, not that the quality is going to necessarily get bad. Where it goes from Fry to Farnsworth, like is there an explanation of the family tree at some point?
I think they kind of briefly did in the first episode when they introduced Fry as his great whoever uncle.
Okay.
And there is an episode where they go back to like colonial times in the next season, one of the upcoming seasons.
So it would have had to have been like one of Yancey's descendants, right?
No, like
No.
colonial times, like actual like founding of America.
Right. But
And he looks like Farnsworth, and his name is Farnsworth.
He's a
the
great,
bloodline
great,
of the Frys and the Farnsworths had to coordinate at some point
right.
for Fry to be his uncle. So that would have had to come down as a descendant of Yancey's.
I guess
Fry's
so.
brother, and then okay,
Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, because I mean they established that Yancey has kids, and it would have had to be his kids that carried on
Yeah.
the line. But then
Yeah.
Yancey would have been a Fry.
Yeah. So at some point, I don't know, but boy,
Yeah.
this could just go in any number of places, right?
Yeah. I mean, not. I guess it could have also been, maybe Farnsworth is. Oh, I don't know. Fuck it. We'll figure it out later.
It's okay.
My brain hurts too hard to do that.
No top hat, no monocle, no service.
Yeah.
I like what would be other triple type things to keep. I mean, you got no shirt, no shoes, no service. What are some other things that you would prevent people from coming in to your establishment because they were lacking?
Pants.
No pants and no what else?
I don't know.
Some of this is just coming from.
I remember maybe like 10, 12 years ago, there was a guy, could have even been longer than that. It's a guy at ComFest, which is like a summer festival in Columbus and in the park downtown. It was within walking distance of all of the art schools that I went to. There was a guy who was protesting the no shirt, no shoes, no service thing, and he was literally walking around wearing a shirt and shoes and no pants or underwear.
So he's just Donald Ducking?
Dong out, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That sounds like ComFest.
Yeah, well, ComFest is also a place where like 80% of the women are completely topless and covered in body paint.
Yeah, it gets real hippy dippy.
Yes,
lot of
it does.
Com stands for community. Mm-hmm. I guess the reason it's fresh in my head is once again spending a lot of time in airports lately. I'm coming up with like a definitive list of shit that should not be. One of them, men in open-toed shoes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Anywhere. Maybe in the shower at the gym.
At the beach.
Maybe at the beach.
That's about it.
Anywhere else, if I see you in flip-flops, if I see you in fucking sandals, if I see you in anything that doesn't completely cover up your toes, fuck you. It's nauseating. It really, I even get bummed out on like people who are wearing shorts on a plane because it's like just everything is filthy and gross. And if you got on your little Tennessee golf shorts and then like you've got naked leg or butt hair sticking, it's just
grosses you out more than other people.
You must not fly Southwest, Pete.
I fly Southwest all the time. But what I like about flying Southwest is I fly it so much, I get to pick my seat first. So I get the exit rows, and the riffraff can sit anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a woman sit next to me on my last flight who didn't speak English and sat down in the exit row, and that was fun to watch her get resituated. When it's like, I need a verbal yes. She said, I don't understand. Oh shit! Can we just get off the ground, please? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Just bad. So the land Titanic, I thought that whole thing was pretty absurd.
Yes, it is absurd. So Mrs. Astor, her husband was on the land Titanic, which was the largest street-going vessel ever built. So a gigantic bus. But it was April 10th, 2912. So instead of 1912, 2912.
So 1,000 years later, right? 1912, 2912. Yeah, I can count.
Yes. So the land Titanic struck a mailbox and sank into the street. 2,000 souls were lost.
Which, again,
they land drowned. And they had life cars instead of lifeboats.
Which, just the whole conceit is so silly. And they all sunk down into old New York with the mutants. And so she created the Mr. Astor Endowment to help keep mutants occupied so they stayed down underneath the ground. But again, another like beautiful, just wide-eyed idiocy moment from Fry. Mutants, that's the kind of thing you are.
Right.
And still, 100 episodes in, not realizing like, oh yeah, mutants aren't supposed to be on the surface.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this land Titanic happened in 2912, and then it crashes. Then later, the crew takes flight on another ship called the Titanic that ends up crashing.
From earlier on.
Yeah.
Earlier on.
Yeah.
Where Bender stole the necklace.
So why?
Yeah, that would be
if they were going to name
a
a
flight
ship
to remember.
Yeah, if they were going to name a ship the Titanic after something that crashed already, why would they continue to do it?
Hubris, Tom. Hubris.
I feel like it's a recycled joke and it bothers me in this episode.
But it wasn't called the Titanic. It was called the Land Titanic.
Right.
They could have called it the Land Lusitania. But
the Titanic was an actual naval ship. The other Titanic was a space cruise ship, and then there was obviously the land Titanic, which is a big giant bus. So maybe they thought, we'll just keep making big things.
The Titanic was a naval ship?
A ship, like on the ocean, an actual
I
ship.
thought you meant like I thought you meant like
no, like
belonged to the Navy.
Aquatic ship.
Okay, all right.
It was actually the
like
RMS. It was the RMS Titanic, so it was
the Royal Majesty.
Root means square.
Yes.
Right?
It was 69 watts RMS. Just that whole. So when they show their little video about the mutants, these industrious people, I guess, maintaining the pipes and the poop chutes of society.
Poop chutes.
Which, I mean, they literally are. Then it goes off on this whole jag. So they kept like leaning on Brown University.
Like poop.
Yeah. but that's like, is that like the MIT writers of the show, like getting in some Ivy League digs or something?
I mean, The Simpsons, they made fun of Brown before.
Yeah, I think it's just a poop joke, though.
Yeah, but I think in this it's a poop joke.
I think it's like
but they
90%
do
a
make
poop joke.
a Brown joke, like a dig at Brown in
Yeah.
a Simpson episode.
It's the one where Lisa is doing the spelling bee, and she can pick the Seven Sisters College of her choice and a hot plate.
Actually, I got to go to Rhode Island, so I'll be right by Brown in a couple weeks. I'll go check it out. Maybe I can get a picture.
Watch out for mutants.
It always made me think of what is bad with the name of the football team in our town. Like,
It's dumb.
it's dumb, and I get where it's named after a person.
Yeah. What other football team is named after a person? And isn't there a team called the Houston Texans too? Like,
Probably.
like I think that's pretty dumb. But the Browns, it's kind of like the dumbest fucking name for a sports team.
Well,
And what is our mascot? There's like a dog and like a brownie elf for some reason. Like,
I just
Just
don't
come
like that it's a
on.
euphemism for buttholes. But then again, maybe that's appropriate. And this is, I mean, like, you
I
know,
believe actually the Redskins are named after somebody.
well, it's not a
Somebody's
person's
last
name. It's
name.
not like, well, is it?
this is Joe Redskin.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, if we get into a discussion about sports, you and I sure are going to have a lot of opinions, aren't we?
I don't know a single thing.
And Tom will just be an apologist. That's
Yeah.
okay. Oh my God. Shut up. It's probably coming through. I think that's lucky. There's no
Whatever.
reason for him to be making noise.
Aw.
He got fed.
My favorite murder does it all the time.
Yep.
People eat it up.
Yeah, but that's because Karen and Georgia are cat ladies, and I'm not. I have a much more antagonistic relationship with those pieces.
They also point out when trains go by. Just saying.
Just let it ride. They have a Steve, though. We don't have a Steve. Tom is our Steve.
Steven! All right.
Oh, my God. So who is the thing? Was it one of the rich people that's like, my great uncle once saw a rat?
Yes. Which is funny.
Yeah, I watched this 2 weeks ago because we were supposed to record. And then
Yeah,
it got
I've watched
canceled,
it
but,
like every week for the last month, I feel.
But it's like they get Leela really upset because they're shitting on mutants and she's a mutant. But I like where she's like, I might say it with my evening boot. Like, I love when she gets so
Of course,
feisty.
Mrs. Astor is aghast, and Fry says, "Oh, don't blame her. She's just a little ill-bred. You know how mutants are."
Oh, that's beautiful. Again, Fry's got some good lines in this one. So what do they do? Just should they arrest her and deport her back down to old New York?
Yep, they literally just walk her outside to the street and push her down a manhole.
Oh God. And she goes to her parents' house. But it makes their hellhole feel more like a regular hole once she's there with her family.
Drink some more of what looks like lemonade.
Oh yeah, it just the scatological humor that goes on once they get down there is pretty gross. So everyone just gets bummed out about it except Bender, who still wants to have this 100th delivery party, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like the whole back and forth with Hermes, where he keeps like stating things, and they're like, "You might be right, Hermes," and he's like, "I am right." He gets so indignant about that. But apparently, by going to Mayor Poopenmeyer and trying to get your mutant friend brought back to the surface, it'll get you thrown into the underground too for 2 weeks, which doesn't make any sense. Is it just like being an apologist is the problem?
They harbored it's like harboring a fugitive.
They harbored a mutant. Knowingly harbored a mutant.
And that so by coming back to say, "Hey, we want to get her out," they are admitting to that crime.
Yes.
Yes.
That's dumb. That's just
Those are the laws.
so many laws are dumb.
Agreed.
Yeah. I wouldn't take shit from a guy named Poopenmeyer.
You'd think he'd be down there in the sewers.
Yeah. It sounds like he ought to be managing a poop chute or some kind of sewer or something. Oh God. There's Old Faithful, which I like. That was a fun pun. Have you ever seen Old Faithful in person? Have either of you been out to like
No.
Yellowstone?
Nope.
No. I should go there before it's all burned to the ground and sold off to oil companies. And then what? Oh God! I'm sorry that I don't have the context of any of this stuff. I just like these lines. Like, well, they're with the Chuds.
Those are the men who work the West Side Pipeway. If they slack off for even a second, it could explode. And then he goes, "Hey guys, this is my daughter, Leela." And then they go, "Hi," and then of course it explodes because they're not.
And then that sends them down to where the Chuds are.
Yes, they get swept off to the Chuds.
Oh, Chuds. Chuds must be pretty resilient because they were around in our times and now they're around in their times in the future. Mm-hmm. I mean, those carnivorous human underground dwellers, you got to give it to them. What did Zoidberg buy for $3 at the drugstore? The
umbrella that he used to float down into the sewer when
Mary
everyone
Poppins
else fell.
Style?
Yes.
I love when they're talking about falling into the lake and that you could grow a camel hump or a Zoidberg face. It's like, it's so true. The way that the mutation stuff works is so goofy and weird. Like there's no, rhyme or reason to it. Because people have swum in that. The characters have swum in that stuff before, haven't they?
The mutants are immune to the lake because they're already mutated.
Yeah, they're mutated.
So they don't mutate more. But if you're not mutated, your DNA could mutate. Who knows how?
But it might not.
So yeah, it's kind of the luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether or not
well,
you
I
mutate.
mean, we see how that goes earlier. Or later, I should say. Mm-hmm. But when Bender's guests arrive for the 100th party, hedonism bot coming in, and just I was looking through my notes yesterday and corrected this because it had auto-corrected fucked up one of the key words. Mm-hmm. Because I trust the orgy pit has been scraped and buttered. Mm-hmm. I think it turned it into pony pit, which is almost as good.
A pony pit sounds great.
Yeah, lots of ponies in
that
there.
is also a line of the show that I am absolutely sick of hearing because it was like every time you tapped on hedonism bot in the game.
Really?
That's what he says pretty much every time.
I'm still playing it, still without
he
sound. He
says, "Room for one more," or "I trust the orgy pit has been scraped and buttered," and he doesn't have that many sound bites in the game, so it was just really fucking annoying.
It's a spite game at this point,
and I am still not playing it anymore.
I mean,
instead, I'm playing a game where you cook eggs different ways, and that's it.
What? Like on your phone? You have to shake.
It's a Sanrio. No, it's a Sanrio game. So it's cute. It's called Gudetama Tap. And
are you killing little bats maroos? Are you cracking their eggs and cooking them?
No. You're an egg. Gudetama is his name because Tamago is egg. Okay. So he's Gudetama and he's really shitty and lazy and passive aggressive and hilarious.
Okay.
And then you just make different versions of him in like recipes, and that's literally all you do.
God, that's the most Japanese thing ever.
Great.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I'm so close at this point to finding out what happens next. I can't not it's driving me crazy, really. But ultimately what happens is they find the land Titanic down in old New York. Like it just sunk down and stayed there. But they're walking around in the bunks, so there's just people that are dead in it and turned into bones. Like why? Because if they could have just walked away.
They land drowned.
Oh God, that doesn't seem like a thing for real. But who was it that's like, everyone debone a bunk and get some shut-eye?
Zoidberg.
Oh, Zoidberg.
Debone a bunk.
Yeah.
Well, then I believe Amy finds a safe.
Yes, with the original passenger
Yes,
manifest.
and Gemerald, a huge Gemerald ring that has an inscription to Mrs. Astor from Mr. Astor,
it's
dictated but not read.
Quantum Force Gemerald.
Yes.
Which seems like some sort of tesseract stone or something, some infinity.
Well, they stick it on a plunger and use it like a wizard staff.
Yeah, it's awesome. I want one.
It's like the Tesseract.
Yeah, yeah. But it has something inscribbled on it? On the is it on the stone, or is that the thing to Mrs. Astor? What's inscribbled on it? I think that's what it is.
It's to Mrs. Astor from Mr. Astor, dictated but not read, and it was inscribbled. But I want to go back quickly, and there's a line in here when they first see the land Titanic. Zoidberg says, "Maybe we can plots in that giant cockle."
Oh God, he's so good. He really is.
Yes.
I was thinking about this some more. Toilet clams. Leela doesn't finish hers. Now that could be interpreted a number of ways. I mean, I don't want to eat anything that has been grown in a used toilet that hasn't been like sterilized and baked and reglazed and whatever. But what if you turned like, a toilet into some sort of a coral reef and grew like...
My babysitter, when I was a kid, made her old toilet a planter in her front yard.
Not surprising. That's about. I'm as surprised about that as I was about the response to your Facebook bio. If we're just gonna be out in the open about that, that sounds about that's on brand. Is that what was growing in it?
Flowers.
What kind of flowers?
Just like regular, redneck front yard flowers,
just
like those little flat
gladiolas and pansies.
The little things that you buy for $2 at Home Depot.
All right.
Buy like the
marigolds
chunk. Not even as nice. Like those little. What are those flat things called? The flat flowers that literally everyone on your street has hanging up on their porch.
Oh, I'll go look later.
They're just like the little. Everyone's got them. They're cheap as fuck. They're
colorful.
Very colorful.
Yeah.
Every color you can get.
Peonies?
Them in. No, those are huge. Those are like big, giant, fluffy, round flowers that are.
They might be gladiolas.
Maybe I don't
know.
I don't know. That's what they were.
But so like if you turned a toilet into some sort of like a chia pet to grow produce on, or to grow like shellfish or something on. I don't know that I'd be opposed to that. So I'm guessing that's
it was like
upcycling,
and it was funny. Like it was hilarious. She also had a Barbie doll head on her car antenna.
Yeah.
So
I haven't met your old babysitter,
this
but
is a full-grown adult who had a son who was like a teenager and another son that was my age.
Yeah.
She went to high school with my dad, so she was like.
No, I haven't
met
your
like
old babysitter, but I've met your old babysitter.
But what I'm saying is this is not like some teenage girl who was putting Barbie heads on her car. This was like a
grown-ass lady.
grown-ass lady with a Barbie head on her car antenna.
Is she single?
No, she's actually remarried. But they got a new toilet in their house. She put the old toilet on the front yard. They were going to get rid of it. And she was like, you know what? I think this is hilarious. I'm going to embrace that we live in a shitty neighborhood. And then she put a bunch of dirt in the bowl and a bunch of dirt in the top. And then she planted flowers like up in the tank and in the bowl.
You know what the next level shit would have been,
she put it right in the middle of her garden and then grew other shit around it. And then it was just like the toilet in the middle of the garden.
If you could rig the upper tank as an irrigation device for the flowers in the lower bowl, that would be
work.
Oh God.
Probably when you watered the upper level, it would also water the lower.
It'd sink down. Oh shit, that's brilliant. Okay, so then this is where he says have some more what looks like lemonade. But when they go back up to the party, LaBarbara's dancing with Barbados Slim. It's the worst. She treats Hermes so shitty.
He's been underground for like a day, and she's already with Barbados Slim.
Yeah, but whatever. Bender has like his moment of clarity and kicks everyone out, and it's hedonism bot where he says, "I said scram, Grapey," right? Oh, poor Bender. But so Fry was just mutating himself to make him endeared to Leela. Like
he wants to understand why she is upset about the conditions. He wants to understand the plight of the mutants. So he jumps right into Lake Mutagenic.
Yeah.
And
he tries to scream, but he barfs.
Leela sees him and tries to scream. I tried to scream, but I barfed. And then everyone else also tries to scream and barfs after they see Fry.
Because he's just a big muckball.
Yep.
Just a big muckball.
It is kind of gross.
He's got tentacles coming out of him and weird spots.
Eyes.
He's got 3 eyes. Yeah.
But then they go to a concert for mutant rights at Brown University, where Devo is.
Yeah, real Devo.
It was just Mark Mothersbaugh.
But it was Devo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like future cover band.
No,
Devo.
no. It was the
mutated
real
Mark
Devo.
Weatherspaw, who is 40% potato.
Play Whip It. No. Play the other one. Which was I love that. And they were just announced as a potential Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee today. That'll be weird.
A little behind the scenes to when we're recording this.
Yeah. Figure it out. There would have been a news story buried in your feed somewhere. They had the We Shall Undercome banners. It's just like the whole mutant resistance seemed very, very strange. And I get it. I mean, maybe, again, more relevant today than it was back when this happened.
Possibly.
But I see, would that be an effective strategy? Like if you could reroute all the plumbing in Trump Tower to just shoot upwards and back out of all the toilets and everything, like what would the outcome of that be?
Probably a lot of angry rich people and probably like 20 half-cocked tweets from a mentally ill old person who is our president.
Yeah.
And then nothing would happen.
Yeah, it would probably just be that
somebody else would have a sex scandal and it would just not be news.
It would be a bunch of poor people that have to clean up the shit for the rich people. That's garbage. Just not fun at all. But Bender is the one that bends the West Side Pipeway to make it go up, but it's a perfectly timed appearance from Sal. with a beautiful line in perfect Sal. So, yucks, I picked the wrong day to wear my new Crocs.
Which is terrifying to think that there are still Crocs in the year
I think
30.
They're probably the
12.
same ones. Why would they?
Oh, they fall apart.
Do they?
They biodegrade. Well, I don't know about biodegrade, but they turn to weird foam pieces. Like,
Really?
Like how memory foam mattress pads, after a while, kind of turn to dust. Like they lose their elasticity
and they disintegrate.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I've never had a pair of Crocs.
I haven't either. I've just seen my roommate has a pair that is like his going out to smoke a cigarette Crocs.
Oh God! Let him know my
They're a little
feelings
old.
on open-toed shoes.
Technically not open-toed. They're
Do they have
they're covered.
ventilations?
They've got holes. They're ventilated.
Yeah. Can you see his weird toes through them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Never really looked at his feet. Haven't seen him in like 2 months, so
The roommate
He's
or his
alive.
feet?
him. He hasn't. He's been home, but not when I was home, and I literally have not seen him in 2 months now.
He just walks around like Dorf.
No, he comes home when I'm at work like once a week, maybe once every other week. Leaves me rent money and goes back to his girlfriend's house, I guess.
There you go. You're just a storage locker.
Hey.
Perfect. So the mutants just attacked the surface with their ICBM missiles coming at them. I love that kind of pun. Because you see BMs.
the poop.
Yeah,
Does poop.
right. My mom was a nurse, and that's what she always used to call it.
So my
BM.
grandma calls it.
It's a BM. It's a BM. Oh. But then it turns into like a weird Moses allegory with Fry splitting the sewage with the Gemerald.
Yeah. Well, after all of the waste comes up in New York, Mayor Poopenmeyer and Mrs. Astor they pump it into the Madison Cube Garden.
Ugh.
And that's it. Once it explodes, that's why when Fry comes up from the sewer, he has to. Everybody's about to get like tsunamied with shit water, human waste.
It's gonna be us in 12 years. We're just gonna get killed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gross.
Fry comes up and gives Mrs. Astor the Gemerald. And she said, "Oh, I've got a chandelier made out of these in my car." And he says, "No, that's not what I wanted to show you." And then up comes Leela's grandmother, which, okay, I have some questions about the timeline on this.
Yes.
But, leaving that alone for now. Leela's grandmother was what they called a drain angel when she was a little girl, and she was on board the land Titanic, sweeping out the drains for some reason on a bus. So when
full of hair
when the
and
ship,
whatnot.
when the ship started going down, her mother grabbed her and they went to the nearest life car, but they were all full. Then Mr. Astor saw little Leela's grandmother as a child, and he gently tapped her in the face with his cane, and gave his seat up to Leela's grandmother and her mother, and that's why Mr. Astor died, and Leela's grandmother survived to raise a child of her own, and then Leela in turn. So this really, well, Leela asks why she's never heard that story before, and Munda says, "My mother's nuts." So who knows if that's really true, but Mrs. Astor is moved, and she decides that the mutants can have their freedom and can come up to the surface, and she demands to Mayor Randall Poopenmeyer that let's grant these mutants their freedom, and he just says okay, and then that's it. All he had to do the whole entire time was decide
that it's fine.
Okay. And there it goes. So then we've got a funny Devo joke about mutated Mark Mothersbaugh being 40% potato. And then in a shocking twist, Leela decides she's going to kiss Fry for getting everyone their freedom, and then, lo and behold, Fry has not mutated. He has simply stepped into the mouth of mutated Mr. Astor, who did not die and is still alive. And
in his mutated form.
And hooray, a happy ending for the rich people.
That's a Zoidberg too, right?
Zoidberg.
So that answered another one of my questions, because Mr. Astor has been in the fucking game for like 8 months that I've been playing it.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was. So
I got Mr. Astor when I was still playing it.
Yeah, he's just, that's fine. I mean,
I never made it there.
Oh my God. It's just, I'm running out of shit to buy at this point. Like, it's just, I hate video games. It's too much.
I just like a different type of video game.
Like cooking eggs with weird Japanese stuff.
I've been playing a game where you just draw lines to help water get into a cup.
I've done that one. Yeah, it's very meditative. It looks like lemonade. I did make a note, and I don't remember what it was, but I have Bender has a weird dancing sequence at the end.
Oh, yeah. So everybody's happy. They go back to Planet Express, and they're asking Bender how the party went for the 100th delivery. And he was like, "Oh, it was the best party ever. I'm partied out." You know, all that stuff that Bender would say.
Yeah.
Then Fry's like, "Dang, we missed it." And he goes, "Well, we could have a party right now." Like, Bender feels bad that all of his friends missed out. And so they have a party where they all listen to Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch. Bend-It, which is, if you are not aware, the same band that did Hold Tight from Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch.
Wait, that's a band name? Say it slowly.
Dave.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
Dozy.
Yeah.
Beaky.
Yeah.
Mick.
Yeah.
And Titch.
That's like
it's like a 60s British invasion band. Like,
that's like a Fiona Apple album title. Like, that's just too
longer.
too many words. It's very British. I'll give it that. Was it DEE or just D? Dave,
DEE, Dozy, DOZY, Beaky, how you would think it would be spelled.
Big nose. Got it.
Mick, normal, and Titch, TICH. Bend-It is great. Hold Tight is great. If you like cool, poppy 60s mod type British music, they're good.
You know what? You're right. It's not like a Fiona Apple album title. It's like a late 90s, early 2000s emo band name.
No, those have like exclamation
I mean, those are like sentences. What are there commas in that one? Because there's like 6 commas in that name. That's a lot of punctuation.
It's just their names.
Right.
Their band name is just their names. Dave D. Dozy Beaky McIntitch.
That's a striking lack
And
of
I'm not.
imagination.
You can vouch that I am not reading that off of my iPod
No.
because I really like Dave D. Dozy Beaky McIntitch.
which is fine. Like first of all, I had no idea that was a real song. So again, you did the due diligence. I have no reason to disbelieve you. I'm really dumbfounded by just the whole.
It was only there because it was bend it, just a little bit and take. Yeah. So it's just because it's a joke on bending.
I think I know that song.
Okay. That reached number 110 in the U.S. charts.
Huh.
Number 2 in the UK.
Well, yeah. Typical. They can appreciate things over there.
And in Austria.
Wow. It's nice to actually get to do a recording. It's been a while since we've done it. And apparently going to be a while till we do it again. So sorry about that, folks, but we'll get another episode out as soon as we can. Do we have anything going on to talk about?
By the time this airs, I will have done an episode of Trend Kill Radio with previous guest Sean Ryan. It came out yesterday, so 3 weeks ago now.
Okay.
So if you want to go hear me talk about Dave Grohl,
was this a new episode? Because you had done one.
It
in the
is
past,
a
right?
new episode. Okay. I did another episode. It's just me and Sean. We talk about Dave Grohl. We talk about Johnny Rotten. I go off on a tangent about punk rock, and it's fun.
Interesting. Positive or negative about Dave Grohl?
It was a story about how he drinks before he goes on stage.
Okay.
Which is a lot more than you would think.
Interesting.
Basically drinks an entire bottle of Jaeger to himself plus like 4 Coors Lights.
That seems excessive.
And he takes a lot of Advil.
I bet.
So check it out.
For the inflammation.
Yeah, you can hear my opinion on Dave Grohl's drinking goals.
I will.
I won't. I don't care about your opinion on Dave Grohl.
Was it?
What about my opinion on Johnny Rotten's opinion on Green Day?
Were you fat shaming Johnny Rotten?
No, I did make fun of his butter commercial though.
I didn't know he did a butter commercial.
Yeah, he did.
But that's just been in the news lately because he's enormous now.
And we were talking. I think Public Image Limited might be putting out a new album soon.
Yeah, I think it's either new or like a retrospective or something. That's why he's in the press cycle right now. There's some new material.
That's why they're
coming.
asking him what he thinks about Green Day, even though neither one of them are relevant anymore. But
it's good. My band Restless Halves will be playing with Iron Chic in November 9th in Cleveland. They are as previously stated, probably on here and definitely on our Twitter feed, the best band with Futurama reference titles out there today. They're pretty great all around. Nice guys, too. They're great. So if you're in Cleveland, November 9th, now that's class. It'll be a fantastic show. We can be found at slurmcast.com. We've got all of our episodes there, the 95 that cover 100 episodes of the show somehow, plus some other ones stuffed in there with other great information. It has a link to our TeePublic shop where you can buy T-shirts we have curated. But if you buy them there using that link, we'll get a little bit of money kicked back to us, which is a good thing because it does cost a little bit of money to keep this out there for you to download things off of our website. You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at slurmcastpod. We are on Facebook. I think just facebook.com/slurmcast. You can call, text, multimedia message us at 216-438-1077. And you can go into iTunes and rate and review us, which is always nice. I haven't looked recently. Has anybody else come back with some nasty things or nice things to say about us?
I haven't looked recently.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing since the last time I checked, which was like a month ago.
Which was nice. Somebody was really nice.
Somebody gave us a very nice, positive, constructive review.
Yes, and we appreciate that.
We thank you for that
Some
very
more
much.
of those would be fantastic. So with that, we will be back in your ears soon. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.